Welcome back to the Party Room Film Festival podcast, wife edition, episode 2.
Yay.
With the first wife. As I was so,
the original nerd
episode 2, but the original nerd wife. I'm joined with Caleigh, and, we're here to talk about Trevor's film. I have a lot of questions pocketed. I'm so excited. I feel like you have a lot of input here, to be offering, but we'll go ahead and open it up with, what were your initial thoughts of Trevor's Area 50 Love inspired? That's what I feel. I feel like I saw a lot of his original in this newest one that he did.
Trevor really went back to his roots. With this one last year, working with Paul, was too good. So he had to go back. He didn't win the Area 50 Love
Gotcha.
award.
So he had to bring it down.
That's right.
Got it.
Yeah. And also time-wise, we were involved in more people's films now that we were living here, and so he didn't spend much time. You were there.
Yes.
We filmed it all in one afternoon and had time to get dinner together.
It was possibly, would you argue that it's possibly from conception to finish, it was like the shortest on record,
Yes, shorter than Area 50 Love.
How much time? Because I remember there was like a whole documentary around Area 50 Love too. Mm-hmm. And so he took several weeks.
1 week.
Days.
That was the Andrew King 1 week film school. Area 50 Love. So that was just like midnight to midnight, Friday to a Sunday. But he couldn't start writing or thinking through anything before that.
Right.
So he had to start writing at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm
This was less than a day.
He
was inspired by Vinland Saga, the anime intro. So if you have seen that, it probably makes more sense for his film. If not, I
remember we had a crash course that day. It was like, here's my idea, which is done. And we're all going to watch the intro to Vinland Saga together. And that was our pep talk before we got going.
Yeah, but by this year, everyone, I think, is on board.
Yes.
Trevor doesn't have an idea, but we're going to get there.
Yeah,
this is going to be a film.
Honestly, Trevor film sets, I can say now from experience, there's so much energy there that it's always it's usually the most fun.
Yeah.
Not to say that the other ones have not been enjoyable by any means, but it's like, because it's so off the cuff and so silly, and Trevor just rolls with every punch, it's an experience that's always memorable and enjoyable.
Which feels like the first year again with Area 50 Love, and going back to so many people on campus, even if they weren't involved in the film,
they just
wanted to be around and see what was going on. So it felt more like that this year.
Right. Well, that's good. Did you guys watch Vinland Saga then, like in its entirety?
Yeah, we're not caught up in the most recent, but yes, we could see at least the first season at that point. Yeah.
It's a good show. Would you say that there's any other kind of like animes that fed into the idea, or was it solely Vinland Saga?
It was that intro, which I know it's not the only anime that does this, but the idea of in that intro, it sort of has 3 ages of the character. So that was what he was going for with Zach.
The whole story.
Now with Zach, he maybe like changed the hat and nothing else. But the idea, especially the scene where he's sort of like Zach's in the same place, things were changing. So he just stood there. Zach stood in the same place in our yard, and I was like handing him the hat so that he could switch it. But that was inspired off the idea. There's a scene in the intro where like the background's all changing, but he's getting older.
Yes.
So that was what Trevor was going for.
Yes. I think he hit the nail on that. You know what I mean? There was definitely like, I remember hearing Trevor and Cody talking on the podcast episode that they did. Mm-hmm. He was like, I think people were confused by it, but I think that's good because it wasn't an entire story, but it was. And I was like, you know what? All of that made sense in like this weird roundabout,
it's an introduction to the story.
Yes.
I want to see what the anime outro for that show would be. Like,
right?
Do you think calmer?
Yeah. Do you think, with like the sad music and Do you think that's what we'll see in this coming year then? Do you think we'll see a little premiere like outro to some
we don't do any sequels, right?
That's true. Trevor has gotten into a sequel.
Yes. 1 year I think
the Trevorverse will somehow all get tied in together. Well, because he and Paul kind of did their joint.
Yeah, that's a universe darkest timeline situation though. So same universe but different timelines. Sequels.
Yeah, that's true. But it was kind of fun to see the varying perspectives and stuff. Do you have anything? I guess, to talk about with that, because Paul and Trevor, you know, are obviously joined at the hip with a lot of that stuff. And it was kind of cool to see them do a collaborative, almost like joint submission.
Yeah, we always really love, even when we live farther away, it's a community that we still have with each other and getting this opportunity to hang out every year. So we would plan our vacations around.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So we would take vacation time, and when we had it, we could drive. So that time, we had a few days in the summer, we drove down to Dothan and stayed with Paul's parents and his family. And so we filmed them together. And it was really interesting because we filmed pretty quickly in just a day or two, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but had been thinking through ideas for a little bit. But they sat down one day and wrote the scripts. And then I think it was the next day we filmed everything. And Riley and I did some catering and behind the scenes catering. To Caleigh. But that one was really interesting, trying to keep each film separate from each other, because they'd be in the same set and they'd have to change outfits and act for the other film. So even like, for example, the office scene where one of them is Paul eating some of Trevor's favorite snacks, but for Paul, that would just be his downfall. Like Paul would not do Mountain Dew and zebra cakes. You see him take like the smallest sip of Mountain Dew possible. And Trevor doesn't like coffee.
Yes.
And so when it gets to that scene, the desk is completely different. You know, the filming style is different too. And then Trevor's just like chugging coffee rounds.
So they were shot in tandem then?
Yeah.
Wow.
We would
like
take
back to back? I didn't know that.
The set. Yeah. Okay. So like the room that's sort of dark, that's like inside the iPad, right? That's the same room, or the office is the same room, or like walking into the building.
So truly was a bottle episode.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. That's so fun to know about that. Like, because I was really impressed. I feel like, you know, especially with continuity and stuff, that's really hard to do a series like that. And so being able to see them do their kind of like back-to-back different perspectives kind of thing, I was like, wow, that's wild.
Yeah, they did really well. And that's why it was too good for Trevor. There
was too much storyline, too much cohesion. You understood way too much.
The shotting looked too good.
Yeah, really, Paul helped way more than he should have, is what I'm hearing, you know?
No, he definitely let Trevor just do something. For Paul's, we would have multiple takes. Something, and Trevor's we got it. We're moving on.
I do appreciate, you know, being on set and witnessing firsthand. Trevor's like, no, that was it. That was the one and done. Like,
yeah. My favorite thing, I think, about this year's film, so Matt's character, I showed it to my sister, who, you know, foundations of this universe is all acting in Area 50 love, and knowing well Trevor's film style. And she said, is that supposed to be like the henchman or something? Who is that? So she thought he was just a really short henchman. You don't know. That's their son. Of course that's their son. She had no idea.
You know, I kind of love that you got like an outside perspective, or at least thought to ask about it, you know?
Yeah, I gave her no context at all.
I just remember, so like my parents have asked, you know, they know about all this, and I'm curious how many people's maybe parents or like friends or family have been introduced to Party Room Film Festival. And I've heard from Trevor that like your parents are actually like cracking up and in like full support of this. And so can you talk, I guess, about your guys' family? Maybe? Do you have showings?
We do, After the film festival, usually we'll show them some. And we stay away from ones that might be too inside joke for them. But ones that we think they would understand more of the film. So this one, we warned them that Trevor wrote a song for this film. And Trevor is not a songwriter. Is that nice? Can I say that?
And he says it himself, so, you know.
Okay, great. Yeah. So he's not a songwriter at all. And we warned them and said, it's not good. It wasn't meant to be good. Just know that we're not looking for you to say, great job with your songwriting. So they watch it, and my mom's like, what are you talking about? That was amazing. I can't believe you wrote that. And my dad's like, did we watch the same? What are you talking about? So that was fun.
I love that. Like, that's so fun that you guys do, like, this show. I've shown my mom, like, a few of them. Like, we've sat with my mom and watched. I think we've shown, like, Zach's Kill Happy is a really great one to show people, in all honesty. And then I think we've shown Bargain Batman is another one by Stice. That one's really entertaining. I feel like my mom really likes Barbie Batman. She was like, this was really funny. And I think it was like partially because it was a funny story, and then partially because she's like, I know Sam.
Yeah.
Like, she recognized it.
But I get like some of the old references to the Batman storytelling through the years. Yeah.
Yes, that was really cute. So, barring Trevor's, do you have a favorite film from year 4?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be biased for the winner. Tick,
sure.
Yes, because it was so fun to have more of a role in that film. I hadn't done that yet. And Levi directed really well. We just had like a lot of filming days, and it was so fun to put together.
Really good on set, usually.
Yeah, I'm not an actress by any means.
You fooled me.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks. Maybe it was growing up with Katie, who's actually
that's totally fair.
Who's a good actress. But I think Levi was able to direct it really well. Mm-hmm. And also, I've learned from Trevor that you don't have to be skilled for party group.
Okay.
So you can just put content out there, and it can still perform well.
So the pressure was off.
Yeah, that's right.
It was really low key. You're like, I can do this.
Yeah.
You've seen what Trevor put out, and so you're like, I can do that.
Yeah, right.
The bar is here.
I'm married to Trevor, so I'm pretty okay with just like go with whatever. But probably the most awkward scene of that film, if you remember, we had to go up to our bedroom.
Yes.
And so Trevor and I are in bed.
Yes.
But to get that shot, Levi is like straddled over us in a bed, filming us, like rolling around for the shot. So that was a new experience for us.
Yeah. Inviting, and then like experience.
Yeah. Right.
Oh man. The most of Tick Tick was all of it shot here? Well, I mean, barring like, I think Jacob's obviously his like, shots and stuff, but I think most of it, even outside where Levi took his like full send spill off the bike.
Yes. Yeah. So us running down, that's like right outside on our street. Yeah. Most of it was at the house. And then, the bike scene, one take, got it.
I was curious. Yeah.
We set up the shot, he looked in, and we like hit record.
Yeah.
Rode his bike down, and we really wanted to make sure he was okay. We were looking around too, because there were some shots in the film that our neighbors are there and they have no idea what we're doing. And so we thought they might come up and try to make sure he was okay. But we just waited and edited it out. And I think it was even better for the film for it to be that long for that shot. But yeah, it was just the first take was perfect. We loved it.
So both Trevor's film and Levi's Tick Tick and then like Plumier have you gotten questions from your neighbors? Has anybody had the gall to bring it up?
No.
Because we were totally in your backyard the whole time.
I think, we got some looks from our neighbors' kids at our trampoline outside in the backyard when we were filming the commercials here. Because we're filming commercials after too for Caleigh and cups or bowls, that one.
Yes. I remember, yes.
And so Matt was in some alien mask that Zach had brought, and so the kids on the trampoline were looking and laughing, and they're like, "We're filming a commercial."
Nothing to see here.
And we really thought someone was gonna come to our car when Trevor was in the trunk.
Yes,
because I was driving slowly, but also kind of trying to turn so movement in the trunk, but not for them. So we thought maybe, because there are a couple cops that live in our neighborhood too. Okay, so we were wondering. But we were fine. Yeah.
No, you got to show them like the whole like PRFF, like you don't understand. This has been going on for years.
Yeah, because you don't understand. Look at
you make it way less weird.
Another shot that's one of my favorites out there, though, that actually I still say this. So there's a bunch of gravel across the street because a couple lots are empty still for new builds that the company are going to do. And every time we pass the one pile across the street, we go, Utah. We pass to that.
Right. Utah. That's just Utah in your backyard.
Yeah, so we just pass it when we come. Utah.
That's great. I love that. You kind of don't want it to get filled in.
Yeah, eventually we have to just stop saying Utah.
Not just say Utah. They live in Utah.
Yeah, right.
One of these times your neighbors are going to ask the question, do you live in mortal fear? I would be afraid that somebody would eventually bring it up.
No, we don't really care. Also,
just show the YouTube channel
to get to know who we are, like some of our personalities that understand us better.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I know that Cody still has to talk to Levi, and I don't want to take too much of Tick Tick, but I do want to ask you know, what was it like kind of getting into the headspace of playing Murderous Wife? Like, or potentially, I guess the verdict is still out. Maybe.
It's questionable. And am I going to cut the cake? Am I going to cut Trevor? I don't know what you're going to happen. Yeah, like I said, Levi was just really good at even some of the facial expressions that help with the ambiguity and sort of get that to portray on camera. He did a good job with sort of like coaching to that. So I think we still left the ambiguity in the song and
I felt like it, you know, I was still questioning. Yeah, Cody and I remember had like a debate. I was like, do you think? And he's like, I don't know. Do you think Caleigh has it in her? And I was like, I feel like Caleigh could have it somewhere deep in her, the pit of her stomach, you know?
Yeah, I think actress Caleigh probably does.
Yeah.
Caleigh, I had to play.
I feel like someone like Trevor.
Yeah, I do like Trevor. That would help it. Yeah, but it was pretty fun. I think it made it easier to not really acting to do something that was totally different. Like I would murder someone or whatever, so it was easier.
How do you, in your professional opinion, then, how do you think the movie ended?
Oh, okay.
Will
Levi want me to reveal this? I don't know.
Oh, well, is this in collaboration with Levi, or is this fully your own head?
This is Calleigh's thought.
Okay, I'm thinking Callie's thought. I don't know, Cody.
I think Callie's thought is fair game.
Yeah, I think that's fair game.
We'll hear from...
a collaborative discussion with Levi, I would say maybe whole bar.
Okay, I'll let him talk about coming to conclusions about the songwriting process and how we wanted to end it. Yeah, but he was like really great to work with, collaborating too.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So my take, right? I mean, this is like a Hamilton moment.
Yeah.
What does a gasp mean, right?
What does a gasp
mean? This is like, what does the knife mean?
Yeah.
So I think that I do murder him.
Okay.
Yeah. In the film, I think that it is another ploy to make him. Because you see kind of at the end of the film, he relaxes a little bit when I take my hands off his sweatshirt. So he's sort of like, it was a birthday party. And so I think it's after that. Right. And then I think there's some hints in the film that show a little bit.
I think you need to rewatch it.
Closely. Some rewatch. I think that's where I land if you rewatch the film. Okay. Again, still intentionally ambiguous for some things, but I land on I murder Trevor.
I like that route. Yeah. Now, what do you think the motivation behind that is? Is it like an insurance policy thing or?
Yeah. So in the film version of our relationship, we're more newly married. And so I think in the song, you see me sort of going crazy, but thinking it's Trevor going crazy and being suspicious of me. So I think some of the scenes like brushing teeth in the attic and stuff like that at the beginning.
I love the attic shot. That was so fun.
The lighting.
Yeah, dramatic.
Yes, the pillars that booked in my whole life. So some of those scenes I think are meant to be early on in our marriage, and you're starting to see, and then also like the training and putting things in the trunk of the car, jumping knives and all that's happening. And you think it's Trevor that's just being too paranoid, and I think it really is meant to be that I am actually just gearing up to kill him. Yeah,
I really love that. Like
that's my take. We'll see what Levi.
I like that take. I'm excited to see then what Levi says, like in comparison to that, or if there's like, you know, maybe everybody has their own theories. You know,
this will come out probably before I get the opportunity to talk to Levi. Yeah, okay. So he'll have probably heard this by the time we talk. So I'll ask him about his thoughts on this.
Yeah, if Caleigh was like on the mark or something, you know. I don't know that I have like a hard theory, but that I feel like it's a very solid theory. I don't know.
Yeah, and some of that maybe comes from just being there through the process and seeing the pieces develop. Yeah. And maybe knowing about some of those little running through the film. So
is there here? I don't need to like give it away, but what is maybe like a scene that houses an Easter egg that might have been overlooked?
Yeah, I don't remember if you could actually see it in the shot, but one of the first ones where Levi and I are interacting on the street, I believe there is a shovel or something back in my back seat. So again, I can't remember you see it, but I'm sort of like in a different outfit. I've just come back, sort of looking like that sweatshirt. Yeah. So I think it's maybe hinting toward I could be gardening.
Yeah, I could be gardening, like in the middle of Utah at night.
Right. Exactly.
Well, wasn't it night actually at that point? I think it might have been midday.
That was in the day. I think next day.
The day after.
Because this is where the note is in the trunk, right?
Yeah.
So Levi picks up the note after this. I think this is Trevor has left sort of one lifeline for himself, maybe.
Yes.
So Levi picks up
the last hope.
Yeah.
I love that. Looping back to Le Plumbier now. So I was there obviously through the like early stages through the shooting. I was present.
Yes.
How did that day after go? Because if I remember correctly, he was still trying to get the deadline, which was like that evening, maybe, or the morning after.
Yeah, it was either that day or the next day.
Yeah, something like that. So you had to do fire editing.
Yeah. Zach and Matt stayed over here for the night, and then we had an editing session here.
With everybody. So
yeah,
it's
right
around
here,
table.
actually.
Got it. Oh, it's not goodness.
Yeah. So it got up
where it happened. Because,
you
know, since we're
more
making
references. Yeah, so I made some chocolate pancakes and coffee and everything ready.
Oh, yeah.
So they just sat and edited, and Zach helped Trevor with features to seamless.
I was super excited to hack back into that scene, you know?
Exactly. We'll fix it in post.
Fix it in post. That's like Trevor's moniker. I was asking Ellen when we had our interview how she would describe the moniker, I guess, of Sam's films. So do you have, I guess, like the signature? This is one sentence of how you would describe.
How many shove it is?
Okay.
One word.
All right.
Photoshop.
You know what? I love that. Photoshop, period. Like,
that's it. That's all you do. They'll fix it with Photoshop.
Fix it with Photoshop and fix it in post.
Yeah.
You know, like
that really is his
we got it. Like,
and the story will come through, you know.
Yes. I think it always does, you know. It is truly, well, actually, what did we say on set? It's the story we found along the way.
Yes.
Like, we really did.
Yeah, in the, I don't know order of some of these coming up, but when talking with Matt and mentioning, Matt said something about a romance horror kind of film, and I looked at Trevor here and I was like, well, Heather kind of did that already because Zach is out here killing people, and I was like, I'm kind of into this.
Well, that was the thing. I remember asking, because that's what I wasn't in that scene. I wasn't originally supposed to be there, and then I was. And then we needed a reason for me to be there, so I was like, what if you're jogging in? Actually, I hate that idea. How about you're doing curls at the side of the house? I was like, this is making less sense, but I love it. And then I was like, well, wouldn't that mean that I see Zach kill this guy? And he was like, it would. And I was like, so what's my reaction? He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, am I into it or am I horrified? And he was like, I think you're into it.
I remember him sort of leaning in. I'm like, both. You'll get there. And it was perfect. It was exactly.
Okay, good. I was like, because that's what we did. It was one take. And I was like, did we do? He's like, absolutely. It was perfect. That's the one I needed. I'm like, okay. And so you're talking about like your experience with Levi as a director, how it's like you had a lot of that information and like good guidance and everything. Like I think that like from start to finish we're acting pure on instinct. So everyone's reaction through Le Plumbier is like their organic reaction.
That's
from start to finish.
Yes, with no ability to resist.
We're getting it in one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with all the other films too, I don't think I've had much of a role. Well, anyway, but in Trevor's films, usually I'm doing some things behind the scenes. So maybe catering, maybe helping with some props. I've, held a phone at some point. Or brought some creative ideas, but I've had just small parts.
Okay.
Trying to stand on, what were we standing on?
Couch cushions.
Okay.
It was your cushions right there.
Our static furniture cushions, static, which was not stable around, and the green blanket was not really long enough, so we're trying to stand on that. And if you watch the film, each of our poses, you can find us trying to balance, especially Sam. Sam, you almost one of them. Yeah. And so that was a little bit difficult. But all of those roles have just been, clink and this and that.
Yes. I love the battle scene because I think if I'm remembering correctly, there were multiple instances of like Ellen, Sam, Matt, all of the battle people, with Zach and everything. But I'm pretty sure you're in there one time. And you're like right, it's almost like a Where's Waldo, because you're like right in the center, like in a fedora. And I don't know, would you think that maybe Trevor was like, this is my homage to my wife. I'm singling her out in this moment.
Yeah.
She's the center person, the star.
Could be that.
You know?
Yeah, you know, Area 50 Love, I got a Katie Stand-in credit. So I think
don't
that's
think I
one of
noticed
my
that.
Yeah. I'm not in Area 50 Love at all. I'm in the documentary standing in for Katie in like an actors meeting that she wasn't able to go to.
Sure.
Yeah, so I don't think it's as sentimental as you're making it out to be. I think I'm more there and support and have been behind the scenes. And he's like, my creative vision is so big that maybe Caleigh can be right here on the screen.
Well, you know, I mean, a lot of support comes from that back area.
Yeah.
You know, you guys, like I said, I think you're the first set that I have been on regarding Party Room. I'm just confirming in my head. I'm pretty sure the first set that actually provided like crafty snacks, drinks, you know, the whole time, you know, and I know you've helped a lot, I guess, behind the scenes. I think you're, you know, Trevor's got that big, he can't hold up the big imagination by himself, you know? You gotta like be in the background.
All of the ideas aren't from him. Now, I would gladly attribute many of the ideas to him.
I was gonna say, do you want to put your flag on La Plumier?
No. You know, I'll give some pieces of it, but no.
Yes.
Other things are more in the brainstorming process even. So before we get to the shooting, which only happens in half a day anyway, but some of the ideas that go into each of the films.
What kind of ideas have you like maybe kind of helped spearheaded in that?
I think I'm not going to say too many of them.
Sure.
I want to let the films stand
for themselves
as they are, and then also save any ideas about things into the next years.
I like that. Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any filmmakers that, again, aside from Trevor, aside from Le Plumier, you know, from like the last year, you know, we like Tick Tick, and I'm pretty sure you're a big fan of Levi, but do you have any of the filmmakers that you're like, man, I like really like how they like pulled it out or kind of like brought it for like year 4, you know?
Yeah. I was a big fan of Sir Sam.
That was excellent.
Film. Yeah. And I've been in small pieces of Paul's in the past too, but that one I wasn't able to make the shooting day, but it just seemed so fun. The set was it was really fun for that one.
He had a lot of like on location stuff that was going down. It was really cool.
Those river shots were so pretty.
Did they ever fall out of the boat?
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
But
but did you hear about it?
Yeah, I think they at least almost did.
Okay.
I don't remember them coming back soaked, but I was I was not here that day.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear a whole lot about what happened, but it was a great shot in the film of almost falling for a long time.
Almost falling, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. One that I've never been part of an Andrew film before, but that would be really fun to partake. Yeah. Yeah. I want to see some of that filmmaking process. Yeah.
Yeah. I worked with Andrew a lot in school, ironically. We had a lot of paths cross, and he's like a powerhouse. It's pretty cool to watch him like work on set, you know? Yeah. So that would be cool.
Also, Sarah killed it this year.
Right? Oh my gosh. Like so pulled out the voice acting, like really nailed it. Yes. I think because I think she said that was her first time doing something like that, and I think she knocked it out of the park. Yeah, like really
did.
Yeah. I loved it. She played a very good Peg. So I guess in that same breath, would you like to be on anybody's film?
Oh, yeah. Any of those.
Any? Yeah.
I think in addition to, what I've said, Zach, he just keeps turning out these really great films every
big
year.
Brain.
Yes. Yeah. So it'd be fun. And I think with his directing style, like he's always just having a good time with people and like genuinely enjoying time with this community. So I think that would be fun to be a part of that and just hear some of the ideas even beforehand.
Discussing on the community topic, from a, supportive wife is how I'm going to word it, supportive partner from that perspective. How do you feel Party Room has kind of impacted positively or even negatively? We could say that, but how do you feel like it has impacted Trevor's life or your guys' life? Because I'm elated that they still do this. And I think it's so cool that they're able to kind of forge those bonds across state lines over 10 years of like being together in and out of college, if you have anything to say to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like,
maybe this is too deep for where you're going, but like professionally, what I do is youth ministry stuff, right? And I know we're all older than that, but like across the board culturally, people are just really lonely, right? Like, and that's a struggle for a lot of people. And so for this community to still get together all the time and spend this time and like really love each other well, like with the love of Christ, and like that's what started at Asbury and keeps bringing us together. Like that's just really beautiful for me to keep seeing and see the difference that makes in all of our lives. And now that people are having kids, like their families' lives, and our parents see this, you know, and so just the way that we're able to like not only participate in that, but communicate that to other people is like so transformative.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it's really awesome that like kind of Andrew, I know, because there's like the council alongside the party room and everything that they've kind of really helped spearhead a lot of that, or I guess like kind of instigate it, keep it going, keep the coals turning. And so I think big shout out to that as well. Yeah. And I think it's so awesome to see them all still be such good friends, you know, and grow together as that. So I think that's very well said. Last question. Do you have any predictions in the upcoming year 5? Like you think maybe it could be anything. It could be, you know, so-and-so is going to like jump in the lake finally, or, you know, somebody's going to shoot a horror film romance combo, you know, like what do you have, I guess, prediction wise? Maybe even a sequel?
Yeah.
Threequel?
Maybe, or, right. Yes.
Saga? Like,
right. A whole saga.
Yeah.
I think, at least from a wives' perspective, we'll see us continuing to participate more in the films. I think this last year was maybe the most participation. Yeah. So at least on screen,
kind of
or
hitting
voice
those
acting.
strides,
Yeah. So I think we'll see more and more of that. I would love to see an attack ad against Andrew and the council. Maybe just sort of like push back this year. You know, we spent Thanksgiving with Andrew and Sarah. And it's more of like a keep your enemies close situation. So being able to see all of
political moves.
DC, right? Like learning straight from the source at the Capitol, some of those manipulation tactics. Like that's what I think we should put in for this year.
That's very true. You know, I think Andrew needs to be aware because he's living in the moment. And so he's like, you know, I've got this cornered. But I think a solid attack ad could probably come out from
I think so.
From this house, maybe.
Right. I could see that happening. I mean, really, we know that like sometimes when people in power get too comfortable, like the council, maybe like Trevor really is in here making the big decisions, influencing
he's
other
amongst
people.
The people.
That's
you know?
Right. Yeah.
He's listening to the peons, if you will.
There may be a rebellion. We'll see.
Maybe a rebellion, a little bit of a rise up, you know. Just got to sway the right votes. I love that. Oh, that's. Honestly, I think that's an excellent spot to end. You know, like there's some strong points have been made in this end. You know,
some strong points about community
and overthrowing the government.
Exactly.
Like, you know, we're all in the same breath. Well, Caleigh, thanks for letting me into your home, because this is indeed your home. You know,
absolutely.
And oh my gosh. Okay, so I am going to loop back really fast. So last question, part 2 of last question. What was it like, kind of being on because, as you know, we've been surprising everybody kind of like with our tour and everything. And so in order to do that, a lot of times we've been incurring the help of the wives. So what was it like kind of playing secret agent to try and, because that one will come out before this one. So you snuck Cody into your trunk.
I did. Yeah. And I told him
a tick throwback, you know.
when we pulled out, I was like, unfortunately, it's not the tick trunk, but it's our other trunk, which is more comfortable than the sedan.
I appreciate, you know, that little like added, you know, we're gonna make him more comfortable, because I would have just shoved Cody in the trunk.
Yeah, we probably would have, except for trying to make it a surprise. Right. Plans were changing because Trevor didn't know he needed to be free for Saturday morning, so he was gone, and it was actually perfect timing when you showed up, and then we had
really was
just enough, like 2 minutes to get Cody into the trunk, and I had an excuse ready so that when Trevor came home, he thought it was as normal, opening the garage, and I had some things I needed him to put in the trunk. Right. So he was not
you didn't have to pull a lot of strings, is what I'm hearing.
Right.
You know, to like,
he told me after, he was like, why aren't you just waiting for me to come inside? Like, why are you coming to my car in the garage? But we had other plans that day, so I was trying to be like rushing to the next meeting. Can you help me put it in my trunk and get ready. And he was like, there's a person in there.
So you think he was surprised? You think it was executed well then?
Yes, I definitely, and hopefully when that footage comes out, you will see that he was surprised.
I've seen the GoPro footage and it's quite funny.
Yeah, but we definitely, and I asked him out, he was like, yeah, I was not expecting
to see Cody just in the trunk.
No,
Cody expressed, he was like, he's like, I thought that there was maybe a potentially 50-50 chance that I would have maybe gotten popped. So he's like, I'm glad that one, I didn't make him drop the case of A8, and two, that I didn't get like kicked.
Yeah. As it was happening, I was like, maybe it's good that I put something in his hands. That's good. But no.
So you think it could have been a 50-50?
I don't think he actually would have. That's not really Trevor's personality.
Not his moniker.
I don't think he would have done that. Yeah. I'm impressed he didn't drop the A8 either.
Yeah. Because I probably would have done both, drop the A8 and hit. So like, I mean, that's just my reaction in a lot of those scenarios.
Whether or not he recognized it was Cody, just still.
I loved watching it unfurl because Cody was texting. I have this like string of texts where he's like, I'm in the trunk, because I was parked a little ways down the road. And I thought that Trevor was at the house. Like, I thought that he was there.
He was supposed to be.
Because that's what I thought. And so Cody was like, yeah, Trevor should be home any minute. And I was like, I'm literally parked like on the road that he is going to drive by. And I'm like, I don't think he would recognize my car. I don't think. But also, me and Ellen are both sitting in the front seat. And so I was like, we don't have time to move. And then it's like, as he had texted that he was about to be home, the car like rounded the corner. And I was like, well, we can't lay the seats down because then that would be even more suspicious. So me and Ellen are literally like just turned away from the window.
It worked. He didn't see it.
I was going to ask if he did he comment on the weird Civic?
He said, I think you were in the driveway when he said this, and he came back that the headlights were on. He noticed and he just thought, well, the headlights are on, someone's in that car, but not like someone I know is in that car and they'll be at my house.
Yes.
Yeah, he had no idea.
Okay, good. Because that was a big, I was like, I would hate to be the reason that all of this falls apart because you really pulled out the stops.
This is fun though. This is really fun. I will say on our end, the wives' end too. Yeah. Now I knew I was coordinating a surprise for Trevor, and then we came into our house and you said, surprise, we're also filming the wives podcast this weekend. So I know last season we were kind of poking fun at the podcast host Jacob quite a few times. So I think that bit should continue for this podcast host rather than Jacob specifically. Jacob gave me questions. He told me what we were going to talk about, and you just come in my house and you're like, hey, we're going to record this weekend. Just saying.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm going to put myself in that same camp because I was sprung on that too. We happened to be there, and Cody was like, why don't we just film the wives at the same time? And I was like, that's a great idea. I am also unprepared.
Yeah, right. No, this is going well. This is really fun. I'm glad. Yeah, I think we're usually ready to talk about our husband's creative endeavors.
I feel like the wives roundtable is usually like, this has been happening behind the scenes for quite some time, and now we're just putting it on camera.
Exactly. There's so much more that goes on.
Do you have a question you would like to add to the roster for any of the future wives?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I would need to think about.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can text me.
I'll text you a question. Yeah.
Because I think that would be fun to continue to take questions to the next people. Because I talked with Ellen and I was like, what kind of questions should I ask Caleigh now that you got put in the hot seat? And so that's what we drug a couple questions over.
I would probably end up asking about, would you vote for Trevor for council in 2025?
Okay,
so let's go with that one.
That's an excellent question. I love that. What a great place to
clear answer, yes. But, it's not a democracy. So what are we going to do?
Yeah, it's already not a democracy, so we got to kind of like wedge that in there somewhere. We'll figure it out. Yeah. We talked about some ads. We could probably wedge a campaign in there at the same time.
That's right. A rebellion,
a rebellion. Yeah. A rebellion, if you will. I love it. Well, Caleigh, thank you for joining me on the Party Room Film Festival podcast, Wife Edition.
Thank you for having me.
Would you like to add a word to the, It was really great to hear your perspective from both like Tick as well as like, being a wife of a nerd doing this, as well as then hearing some backstory about like Trevor and how stuff comes to be. So
yeah, thanks. Yeah. And thanks to you and Cody for hosting these this year. This is just so fun to get to see each other on the off season.
Because that's right. It hasn't been announced, Do you have any prop suggestions?
Oh, prop suggestions. No, I'll come up with those later too. I didn't get the list of questions ahead of time, so I don't have my answer for that one.
That was an email. Did you check your junk mail?
No.
Okay, well, you know,
Is it in there?
Yeah, it's probably
Is
there.
Is it?
Probably. Yeah, it's probably there. You know.
Yeah, I'll not have a say in the props anyway, so that's okay.
I think it would be fun. I think that if we're talking about like overthrowing the government and everything, I think that the wives should like vote on the props.
Yeah,
I think that's how it should, you know, and that's like the back door. You know, the council isn't involved, but then it's also not left to the nerds, so it's still not a democracy. It's
we could
just
do
a
like
phone in.
we just do the Le Pommier hat. Like
Yeah, there you
everyone's
go.
already got one of those.
That's a good
You don't
one.
have to find a Nickelback
That's a
CD.
great one, actually. Yeah. Cody had suggested the 3D printed nerd sign.
Oh yeah, I like
was a
that
good
too.
one.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I like that the props are getting more honed. You know,
I do
meta.
like the versatility though of the props, like the
Yes.
plunger. Like they did a lot of different
I
things. with the
know.
plunger.
When they said what it was, I was like, "How are you gonna fit?" Sometimes, man, I'm like, "How are you gonna put this in the scene?"
Right, but it was more than digging with a shovel. You know,
Yes.
like there was just versatility with it.
Yeah, I remember that. I think, or you know, smacking a zombie in the face with a shovel.
Yeah, exactly.
Another Trevor like moment. You know, love that. All right. Well, now I guess, you know, Cody's going to have some funny editing because, like I said, we're filling this out and everything.
Sure.
But, you know, I appreciate you joining us for the podcast episode. And again, opening up your lovely home
Yeah,
to house it.
We'll keep chatting off camera. So this is so good. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Heather.
Yeah, no, it was really great. Yeah. So I guess that's a good way to... Do
we
we
have an outro?
Do we? No, because I asked that. I was like, do we have an outro? And you went like, no.
I mean, just make an outro. Just say thanks for coming.
Hanging out with the wives.